I'd like to call to order the June 11th, 2019 meeting of the Board of Education. Thank you all for being here, standing room only. It's so much fun. I love this meeting because we get to sing some praises of some of our fabulous students and our teachers. So and with that said, I think let's move on to our recognitions.
Great. So I am going to kick things off this evening and talk a little bit about Janet Black. Where is Janet? She'll get very upset for me for having her go first, and I'm actually going to make you stand up. Oh. I know.
Dun, dun.
You're retiring, so I can't tell you what to do much longer, Janet. But Janet is our 2019 Chamber of Commerce Educator of the Year, and we had an opportunity a couple weeks ago to go to a really nice luncheon hosted by the Chamber and spend some time, and Janet was recognized for her accomplishments. And I really can't think of anybody more fitting for this award. Janet has been with us 38 years in our Family and Consumer Science Department, and not only has she exemplified herself as an outstanding educator, but what Janet does better than anybody is recognize the value of relationships, both with students and adults. So we talk a lot about collaboration in this district in terms of trying to bring students together and learning, but also bring adults together in terms of moving our work forward. And nobody has done it better for a longer period of time than Janet has. You are going to be missed when a Janet Black walks out the door. You don't replace it like that. That's for sure, but we wanted to take a few moments, Janet, and just recognize you for all the excellence and how well you've represented us over time. So thank you greatly. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. All right, the next awards we have are our CABE Student Leadership Awards. So I am going to ask Scott Baker, middle school principal, if he would come and talk to us a little bit about the two student awardees. Thanks,
These are
Scott.
two students who we couldn't be prouder of at Henry James. The CABE Student Award, they really want us to find students who aren't afraid to take challenges, work well with others, honor commitments, and make difficult decisions. And both of our students tonight that we're recognizing embody all of that. I'm going to speak about Kelsey first because I remember her and her sister in the double stroller at Squadron Line there. And to see how they've grown up is just amazing. So, you know, she has so many clubs and activities. We'd be here all night if I listened to her. I picked two that I think really exemplify what she's been involved in. First being Unified Sports and all that stands for. It takes a special person to make a commitment there. And then just recently, a couple weeks ago, she and her sister organized a Relay for Life team that did an amazing fundraising job, raised over $1,700 for cancer research, all on their own, really with not a lot of adult intervention or pushing to do or anything. It was just something they wanted to do. And then lastly, when we ask teachers for these recommendations, a quote from one of her teachers says it's the most generously kind and caring and hardworking student she's ever had. So congratulations to Kelsey, and there's a second student I wanted to talk about is Jason Bodeberg, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know him this year. He's a student who loves competition, and he is just an academic powerhouse at Henry James. He has won the National Geographic Bee 2 years running, competed at the state level in math counts, and so we have a lot of students who well, not a lot of students who won the Geography Bee twice in a row. Not a lot at all. We had a lot of very powerful students, but he also is dedicating his time with Unified Basketball and giving back. And one of the quotes from one of his teachers that he said is that he has just an unbelievable sense of fairness. He includes everyone all the time. And we're just so proud of you, Jason. You've done an awesome job at Henry James.
She has other things
Yes.
to go back to school.
Yes. More after school activities.
more things to do. All right.
I'm going to ask Ms. Mr. O'Brien to
All right, that's
introduce
my
the high
cue
school.
as space opens up.
Yes.
So we have two outstanding seniors here tonight. They are seated there by the door. We have Jacqueline Ritz and Bronson Starziak. They are our CABE Award winners for this year for Simsbury High School, and I'll just read off some of the things that you've done. It's pretty amazing. So we'll start with Jackie. Jackie is the president of the National Honor Society. She's a member of the Tri-M Music Honor Society. She's the vice president of the Spanish National Honor Society, and she's also a Spanish teaching assistant, a 4-year Simsbury scholar, 3-sport captain of volleyball, track, and basketball. She's an outstanding saxophone player. She's a member of the symphonic band, the sax ensemble, and the pep band. She's had near perfect attendance. Pretty amazing. Now she's also works in conjunction with Bronson for this group called SCORE, and Mr. Penny will talk to you a little bit more about that. She is a team leader of SCORE, which stands for Students Keen on Recycling Equipment. It's athletic equipment. So, Jackie, outstanding work.
Congratulations.
All right, and now Bronson. Bronson is an all-state first chair orchestra member where he plays the bassoon. He's a student leader for the SHS Pep Band. He's participated in our 8th grade orientation night, welcoming new students in and playing, motivating them and showing them where they can get to. He's also a 4-year Simsbury scholar. He's a writing lab tutor. He's a Latin honor scholar and society member, and he is the president of SCORE, earning recognition from the Hartford Courant and others. So Bronson, why don't you come on up?
Congratulations. Did you guys bring anyone with you that you'd like to introduce?
That's my mom, my father, and my sister. I make it all possible. Without them, I wouldn't be happy than I am today.
And what are you gonna do next year?
I'm going to Dartmouth.
Oh, great.
Congratulations. Jackie, did you bring anyone here that you'd like to introduce?
I brought my mom.
Can you stand up?
Yeah, I brought my mom and dad, and again, I wouldn't have been here without them as well.
Wonderful. What are you headed to do next year?
I'm going to Syracuse.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, both of you.
Congratulations to all of you.
Yes, congratulations to your parents today. Thank you very, very much.
And now Mr. Penny?
Yes.
To speak about our scholar athletes.
So annually, the CAS CIAC allows us to recognize an outstanding male and female scholar athlete from each school throughout the state of Connecticut. It's one of the best awards that we're able to give as an athletic department every year because it really is about the combination of academics and athletics. And every year we sit down with a list of the top achieving students and we struggle with who are the best of the best and what do they represent and what do we love about them as individuals. And this year I'm proud to share that Ellen Meyer is our female scholar athlete this year. Among the highest in GPA and class rank academically, 4-year cross-country runner and 4-year cross-country skiing team member. She took every class at Simsbury High School at the highest level, never earning less than an A. And when I asked her coaches about her, and I said she's a finalist for the scholar athlete, they both lit up and said you could not have chosen a better character person to represent Simsbury High School scholar athletes. So congratulations to Ellen.
Can you come and shake hands so we
Yes.
can take a picture?
Gotta follow the model.
I apologize. We gave her the award already.
That's right. Did you bring any people here that you'd like to share?
Yes, I have my mom right here. Thank you, Mom. And I guess, going to University of Rochester next year.
Oh, great. Congratulations and thank you very much for all your hard work.
Our male scholar athlete is actually also Bronson Starziak, and specifically for a couple reasons. Bronson was a very strong contributor for 3 years as a varsity lacrosse player and a leader on that team while he played, but his work over the last couple of years as a humanitarian, along with having one of the highest GPAs, being among the top ranked in his class. The SCORE program is something that he started in 2017. He's been able to collect clean physically in his parents' garage. Thank you so much for that. And they can't wait to see that stuff be donated. He's already donated over 2,000 pieces of sports equipment to Hartford Public Schools. So the work, the humanitarian work that he's done on top of being a top achieving academic student and a top achieving student athlete is absolutely amazing, and it really made him a wonderful choice for this award from the athletic department, and we couldn't be more proud to have our representatives this year be who they are, and we're looking forward to staying in touch with them and watching the amazing things that they do moving forward. So, congratulations.
Bronson, did you find someone else's garage to continue your project?
That is the mission right now.
So as we sit here in this room, if there's anyone who'd like to take on the mantle, by all means, talk to Mr. Pitty.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, great, Bronson.
All right, next we have our Simsbury High School yearbook editors.
Where do you want us to?
Come on up, just come on up. Thank you.
Yeah, so this year's theme for the yearbook was space. And as you see on the cover, it says finding our way. We kind of wanted to incorporate for the senior class that we were finding ourselves this year, and we were really coming forth and being who we are. And also the space thing was because during an idea session, we had a couple ideas like technology, stuff like that. But then space came up, we were really interested in it. We thought it'd have a lot of good visuals. And this year's also the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, so that's important. We have a lot of different ways we brought this theme to life in the book. We started with some space imagery, as you see like on the sports pages, the title page, or not the title page, the title has a space background, just a little bit of space. And we also had polls that the sports kids did about if they like Star Trek, Star Wars better, Star Wars.
100% Star Wars over Star Trek among the men's cross-country team.
I know.
That's great.
We also did put some space jokes in there just to make the book a little bit funny and more interesting to read. And also for the elementary, we have in the back a picture of us in 6th grade.
Nice.
Perfect.
Back to the Future.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah,
What a great idea.
And
Oh yeah, that's very cute.
yeah, we also just have like a whole page that just has.
That's
those are
what
the
I'm looking
baby
for.
pictures. Yeah, it's gonna be in the beginning and the beginning.
So fun.
Oh, okay.
So cute.
Gonna have a whole meeting looking through this.
I know.
It's great.
We're gonna have to take these books away from everyone on the board so we can actually pay attention to them. Can you introduce yourselves and tell us what you guys are doing next year?
I'm Grace Cummings and I'm gonna be going to Worcester Polytech.
It's great traveling through time.
Yeah?
I'm
That's
Haley Rose and I'm going to Brandeis.
Nice, wonderful.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. This is a really a great accomplishment. You should be very
much
proud.
for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All right. I am going to turn things over to Erin Murray, who's going to talk a little bit about the Catherine McGowan Scholarship Awards.
Great. We've had 5 years of awarding Kathleen McGowan scholarships to students that are pursuing their field in education. So tonight we have 5. I think 4 are here. So I'd like to first introduce from Terrifield School. We pick one from every elementary school. So from finishing 6th grade in Terrifield School is Kira Sanborn Birch, who will be attending Mount Holyoke College. So here's We also have from Central School, Judy Bergman, who will be attending Drexel University. We have, as we just saw, Haley Rose from Latimer Lane School, who will be attending Brandeis University in the fall. Congratulations. The other two, Annalise Shingleton. Oh, there you are. And Annalise is from Tooten Hill School, and she will be attending Liberty University in the fall. And from Squadron Line is Nicole Cesar, who's attending Westfield State University, but I don't believe she was able to make it tonight. All right, so this has been great to award these scholarships to these students, and to be doing it for 5 years has really been quite exciting.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
All right, Shannon, I am going to turn it over to you to take us through some of the beautiful artwork, and then we'll talk about the art awardees.
Great.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited to share with you some of the work that was acknowledged at the annual Scholastic Art exhibition. The range of work is diverse. We're very excited to share everything from digital artwork to photography, digital photography. The students also were recognized in fashion in a couple different areas. Let's see, and jewelry as well. The exhibition is very competitive. I was excited that while we were there as a department visiting and responding to the work, Erin was able to come view the show with us. This is Laura Hinojosa Silva, who this work was actually won a big award in the art show this year, and that's her right behind Sue. A portrait of her, so you might recognize her. And her portfolio was selected as well. Beautiful work. We have an encaustic, which is melted wax painting, and you might recognize this from our exhibition calendar. This work was featured. This is also a piece that was an observation charcoal drawing from the new UConn ECE course, and beautiful work. So. Congratulations to all those students, and this is from Henry James. This is a mixed media printmaking process. A sculptural piece that's quite beautiful. Stone carving. And more digital work. That's great. Everyone loved this when we were Stop laughing. This piece was recognized as best in printmaking through the state. So this was a big award for this piece as well. And so that is kind of a quick run through of the work, but we're very proud of those students. And while we were there, we ran into a former student, Shannon Berry, who was graduating this year, and because of his portfolio entry, was able to receive pretty much a full scholarship through University of Hartford.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Painting, so.
That's very nice.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
How
to
you
you and
Thank
all
you.
the teachers. That's wonderful.
And
You have some awardees, correct?
Yes,
yes,
Yeah.
I did.
we have a few more students to
Yeah.
recognize. So, the Cass Art Awards, and we have outstanding representatives for the visual and performing arts. So, Michaela Barlow. Michaela is an incredible visual artist. When I spoke to Ms. Ciciat, she could not say enough. I really enjoyed taking a look in her classroom. Each of the seniors have their own little workspaces under this hood, and it's pretty amazing to see what they have there as you watch it progress throughout the year. She is a member of the National Honor Society, the National Art Honor Society, and the National Spanish Honor Society. She is excellent in drawing, painting, and portraits, but her true love is really in new media design, motion graphics, and augmented reality. And when I asked, what is augmented reality? She tried to explain it to me for a little while. She said, all right, Mr. O'Brien, it's kind of like Iron Man. If you've ever seen Iron Man, and he's in his armor, and you see all that stuff around him, that's augmented reality. All right, I got that. I've watched that and I've seen it. So she will be going to RIT to study animation.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Andy, she's also contributing to a permanent mural that she helped design in celebration of diversity. And so you will be able to see her work permanently exhibited at
Can you come and
Simsbury
get
High
a picture
School.
with these two, please?
Congratulations.
Shannon and Mr. O'Brien? Right in the middle. Yes. Well, that'll be wonderful to have her lasting impression as she goes off to do more, even more exciting things.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And for the
Thank you.
performing arts, we have Faith Yee. Faith is an exceptional violinist in our orchestra. She's been to regional and Connecticut All-State events. Last year, she actually organized a Junior Achievement Benefit concert on her own. It emphasized mixed chamber groups. She's the president of the Tri-M Music Honor Society. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She definitely plans to continue playing the violin in the future, and she's going to be heading to Tufts to study psychology.
Wow.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Great. That is great.
Every time, it's so great, and then I feel like a slacker.
Too many things.
Too many.
And we have two new Board of
Two
Ed
new
reps?
Board of Education reps,
Yep.
yes. One of them is with us here tonight, Kayla
Okay.
Huey. But our other rep, Josh Picot, could not be here tonight. And I'll talk to you about Josh and explain a little bit about where he is and how it speaks to his passion. When we interview people to become representatives for the Board of Ed, we're looking at juniors. We want to know what is their leadership experience, what are some important issues that they would like to see addressed, and what are some of the aspects of student life that they might like to pursue and see explored further. So a bit about Kayla. She has, for 3 years, she has worked at the summer camp as a volunteer for underprivileged youth. She loves dance, and she teaches 3 to 15-year-old students to dance every Saturday morning. She enjoys assisting teachers and her fellow students. She's an athlete. She participates in fencing, cheerleading, track and field, and she's also been one of our vital Re-Center student facilitators, doing our work around cultural competence. She's looking forward to continuing that work, focusing on climate and curriculum.
Great.
Come on up for a photo.
It's picture day.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that will be wonderful.
Congratulations. Bye, Annalise.
Have a
We
good
look
night,
forward to
everybody.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Coming,
much.
everybody.
So Josh could not be here tonight. His passion is history, and he is at the nation's capital, and he's continuing to marinate in all things history and that work. He's a member of the debate team, a member of the Young Democrats, and he's also athletic. He participates in crew. As I said, his passion is history. He's very active with the Simsbury Historical Society, where he serves as a docent. This summer, he is going to be heading to France for this Digging into History program. Kate Cristolini, who is a French teacher at the high school, she is a representative. This is a statewide effort where students and teachers are going to actually reclaim this trench where Connecticut servicemen served during World War I. So it's really a tremendous honor for our staff members and our students to go. He is extremely interested in exploring student health. That's an issue that he would like to look at, and strategies for stress management of our students through mindfulness and physical activity.
Great. We look forward to meeting him next fall.
Great to have you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mary.
very much.
Appreciate you
Thank you so
coming
much.
out.
Have a wonderful
All right,
night.
have a good night.
Thank you very much.
I've also been in touch with Josh, and he wanted to say he's very sorry you couldn't be here this evening. He's representing Connecticut at the National History Day in Washington, D.C., but he's looking very forward to meeting everyone in the coming months. He's very excited.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Valerie.
I've been trying to keep in touch. He's very upset he couldn't make it.
At that, any more awards?
No, that's a wrap.
That was wonderful.
That was great.
Thank you. It was really great. Thank you all. Thank
Good
you all.
energy in the room.
It was
Yeah,
really
it
fun.
great.
Moving on to public audience. Does anyone have anything that they would like to share in public audience at this point? Moving on. Board and Administrative Communications. Valerie, thank you so very much for your service to our board. You have brought vitality and information and insight that we greatly appreciate, and we look forward to you checking in on us.
Oh, I
as you
definitely
move
will.
on. And where are you headed next year?
I'm going to UConn for mechanical engineering.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and we'll do your last report.
Of
We're
course,
not.
my last
You're
one.
not off the hook yet.
I wouldn't want to be. I want to stay. Okay, so for Tooten Hills to start off, we wanted to say congratulations to William Sudnick. I'm sorry about last names. I butcher them every time. And Samantha White. They both won recent Connecticut Invention Convention awards. They recently found out that both of them will be moving on to nationals in Michigan this year, so we're very proud of both of them, and we wish them luck. Also today, Tooten Hills had their talent show. Terriffill School is holding their 6th grade ceremony tomorrow to honor their 6th graders for going on to the middle school. Central is holding their 6th grade ceremony tomorrow. Latimer held theirs today. Squadron will be celebrating their 6th graders on the 13th. And then for Henry James, we are honoring Kate Martin. She had an entry in the Lions Club International Peace Poster Contest, and she has been selected as our regional winner. The theme this year was Kindness Matters, and we want to give a huge congrats to her. It's a huge accomplishment. And then also, I wanted to say to the next generation of high school students, you'll do amazing. I'm super looking forward to the next generation that's entering. I have heard amazing things, and from all the awards tonight, I'm very much in good hopes for the coming generations. Yesterday, it was the best thing ever. We had our therapy dog visit for the year. I love them. They're adorable. It was so nice to see all the students out there. We were all petting them and learning about them. One of the dogs even knew how to understand sign language, which was like the coolest thing ever. It was amazing. Really, yeah. It's the therapy dogs are meant to calm down the students before finals week, and we all had a great time. It was amazing. It was a beautiful day, too. It wasn't raining or muggy or anything. It was great. At Simsbury High School, we have a junior, Ajith Valor, who recently got the opportunity to give back to his community. He had a debut musical performance where he raised $1,962 for a cause that puts musical instruments into the hands of children who otherwise can't afford to play one through a nonprofit organization called Hungry for Music. So congratulations to him. That's an amazing accomplishment. On May 3rd, Mr. Penny invited 24 student athletes and their families to our 3rd annual signing day. On this day, our student athletes signed their letters of intent or commitment, depending on their division level, to play at an NCAA college or university. So congratulations to these students. It was a really nice day. And then congratulations to all the students who were recognized at Simsbury Scholars this year. This year's speaker was 2015 SHS graduate Emily Bautista, who is currently singing on Broadway in Miss Saigon. She was super inspirational for all of those in attendance. She had a speech pre-recorded because she sadly couldn't be there with us that night, but it was beautiful. Really, everyone was watery. It was great. I wanted to offer congratulations to Rachel Coppinger, a sophomore. She was a runner-up entry in the 19th annual statewide James W. Copper Fellows Quinton Johnstone Essay Contest. Wow, that was a lot. Rachel's essay was on the topic of jumping the gun, which is preventing school violence. So very prevalent or very well-known topic right now. It was evaluated by a panel which included the Connecticut Supreme Court judges from the federal district and Connecticut appellate and superior courts, as well as law school deans and professors and practicing attorneys. So super distinguished people. It was great. So nice work, Rachel, and keep on writing. You're doing an amazing job. And lastly, to those graduating, me and my graduating class, I wish everyone luck because I feel like we have one of the most accomplished graduating classes. As you heard, we are super excited about what our students are going to go do, and it has been an absolute honor to be able to serve on this board. I've had a great time.
Thank you very much, Valerie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Tom.
Well said. Can't follow that up.
Yeah, really. Oh, gosh. Where do you go from there?
I get it.
Oh, wait.
Brian.
I'm all set.
Jen? So,
Good.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Moving on to Mrs. Lemke.
Two quick things.
Great.
Last week, SEPTO, our special education parent-teacher organization, held their last event of the year, and it was a first responder panel. So we had members of Simsbury PD, Simsbury Fire, EMS, as well as parent and advocate Shannon Nall come and speak on a panel with parents about how to be emergency prepared if you have a student with a disability. So tremendous resources. Certainly what stood out the most is that our first responders really want to provide top-notch service to our families. They're very encouraging of our families to come into their various offices, do meet and greets. They're just wonderful. So that was a great event. And then Matt and I had the privilege today to attend the Farmington Valley Transition Academy graduation. So our students who are exiting public education that have been receiving special education services, certainly this is a very important collaborative that we have with the Farmington Board of Education, and what a bucket filler. Beth By, the Commissioner of Early Childhood Education, was the guest speaker. Packed house, just
Very
it was
nice.
great. It was great. So wanted to share that with the board.
Thank you.
Just wanted to update you about the process up here to fill a very important position as Sue Kakamo, our enrollment and transportation coordinator, is taking her retirement this summer, so have the person who gets the new students and families registered into here and makes all those bus stops all over 60 routes of buses that we have, and it's really been a tremendous job that she's done over many years. We ran a process to find a successor for her, and we're pleased to report, if you know Laura Shellman, who has been a secretary in a number of the schools and recently up here in our special ed department, Laura is going to step into some pretty big shoes,
Wow.
and we're excited to...
She's very brave.
Yeah, we're excited to keep it in-house with a really important position, and congratulations to Sue on her retirement coming up later this summer.
Great.
I'm all set, thank you.
Aaron, it's great to have you back.
It's wonderful to
We
be
love
back.
you and miss you. So I'm glad to see you sitting there and smiling as pretty as ever.
Thank you.
I had 2 items I wanted to mention yesterday. I don't know if you were going to talk about this, but we had an opportunity to participate in the groundbreaking at Henry James for the construction project. So certainly a long time coming. In a nice little ceremony over there, we had an opportunity to say a few words, and students were involved. Mr. Baker did a nice job, and Burke really helped to organize the event. A vision that was shaped by Aaron about 15 years ago.
2005, I
There you
presented
go.
it to the
So,
board.
in many iterations of
It
the
was
capital
mentioned yesterday.
capital planning to move it through, and all of you know, and much of the public knows now, we're engaging now in a larger scale facilities assessment with an outside contractor to come up with different various innovative ways to look at improving our facilities. But certainly, the improvements at Henry James are a much needed step, and we're all very excited about it.
Very, very excited.
Yeah. The other piece in your folder is the one-page document that we have been working from to update you on important work in the district around equity. And Mr. O'Brien did mention the recenter work. So there's a couple buckets
So
I
we
just
have a
wanted,
member of the
a
recenter
couple
program
buckets
here.
I just wanted to provide some brief updates on, and also couch this in our overall district work, because I think it's very important to recognize in a district that practices continuous improvement and has had success with that process of identification of goals and creating action plans and reporting out on them, that this work very much needs to fit into our new strategic plan that we're going to launch in the fall. So I've listed the Board of Ed goals, which you will actually vote on later in the board meeting, and to demonstrate how they do align with the work that's been going on in the district, but more importantly, to set the direction in the future that we plan to go in. But those recenter conversations have culminated. And now both the student leaders and the adult leaders are in the process. I don't know if you've met yet or if those meetings are going to happen over the next couple meetings.
Right, Kayla?
Today and tomorrow, to identify themes and outcomes and start to set some actions and priorities moving into next year. So our commitment was to engage every student in Simsbury High School in one of these conversations, and it took a while, and it was a pretty significant effort, but we got that accomplished, and I think it's a really good start. Neil and I had an opportunity to meet with 2 faith-based leaders in the community who participated as facilitators in the groups, and they just thought it was real, genuine, important work that we were engaging in, and it was great to get their perspective as well. So the second piece I wanted to report out on is we are in the finishing stages of conversation with the Center for School Change. So you'll remember the Center for School Change is an organization that actually helped kick off our strategic planning in the fall when we met as a board. So they have been doing quite a bit of equity work around the state of Connecticut, and Sue and I have been working with them on a proposal to support us from a professional development standpoint this summer and into next year, help us form what we're going to call an equity council, which will be a cross-representation of parents, students, staff, and administration to really help guide our work through a couple actions. One will be conducting an audit. They'll help guide an audit of our practices, help us look at our curriculum and just everyday policies and practices that we have that impact equitable practices, and then give us recommendations to move forward. So we are in the final stages of working with them, and their organization we're comfortable with and confident with. So we're excited about that. The third piece that we talked about throughout the year was the community component, or the community conversation. And we partnered with the U.S. Department of Justice, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Lyons, that came out and facilitated a significant-sized dialogue in the community, I think 80 or 90 people. And I was going to have Sue just to provide brief update on that because it was run in conjunction with the Community for Care, and Sue was a huge part of pulling that together. So.
Sure. So we met in May. As Matt shared, there was almost 100 people in attendance, very diverse groups, and went through a pretty significant process that lasted quite a number of hours where we celebrated what we love about the Simsbury community and where we think we can make some substantive change. We came together in a protocol where we kind of mixed up our groups and made some priorities as a group. And now Mr. Lyons is taking all of that information and will turn that information into a very comprehensive report that the Department of Justice also looks at and kind of stamps as their approval. And that evening, there were volunteers to also become what's going to be called a Spirit Council, which again, very diverse stakeholders all over the Simsbury community that will say, what is our community plan to become better in this work around equity? So Mr. Lyons, I've just been in touch with him last week. He said that the report is being written right now. It should be ready in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then he will come back and share that with members of the Spirit Council, and then they'll start their own action planning. So certainly Matt and I will update you as those actions unfold, but we're very excited about this level of work.
Sounds great. And that was an amazing, it was a very powerful program that
It was.
we participated in.
Graduation Friday.
Graduation Friday.
Exciting.
Are we allowed to say that?
It's salty real. Oh,
Well, Valerie, thank you very much.
Of course.
I want to say that Henry James yesterday was a wonderful event. It's been a long time coming. And when you've got a 1957 building that still produces the students and the teachers and the energy that it does coming into the 21st century with the new media and library and the new science labs, I just can't even imagine what's going to be able to come out of that school because the success has always been great. And with the right facility, it'll be even more spectacular. So it's wonderful, and we are very excited about it. At this meeting, I'd like to make sure we thank SCTV because they help the public hear our meetings and participate in our discussions because they can always email us from home or get in touch if they see conversations that they want to participate in. They can get in touch with us from home. So thank you to SCTV. Again, they don't get as much donations as they used to, as many donations as they used to because of the checkbox on your cable bill. But so I'm hoping anyone who would like to, they're always accepting donations and they're always accepting volunteers to help film and participate in community events. So please keep that in mind, and we want to always be thankful for SCTV. I also want to take this minute because we have a retirement plan subcommittee that is a subcommittee of our board, and Brian Watson has generously offered his services to participate on that, and we've appointed him to that board as well. Thank you very much. I think that's it. It was exciting to hear all those good things. I'm
Great.
still excited about it. Moving on to our recommended actions. We'll start with approval of minutes of the April 23rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, Tom, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Moving on to the May 8th meeting. Any conversations, corrections, discussion?
So moved.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Second.
Thank you very much, Jen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And we have the minutes of the May 14th workshop. Any corrections or conversations? Okay.
So moved.
Thank you, Jen. Second.
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain from that one, Katie.
Thank you very much. And now we are going to Burke because we're looking at an acceptance of a donation from Terrafil School PTO.
Okay, first of two gifts from PTOs is Terrafil, and this is for $2,000 to help defray the cost of the annual Grade 5 Camp Jewel trip.
Awesome.
Request that you approve this gift.
Anyone like to make a motion?
Move that the proposed gift of $2,000 to Terrafil School by the Terrafil School Parent Teacher Organization be approved.
Second. Thank you, Sue. Thank you to all the parents for supporting. What a great opportunity for those kids. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And now this one is exciting as well.
This is a squadron line PTO gift, and in my 11 years with the district, I think this is certainly the most sizable and generous gift that I have seen come through to the district. And we really started lots of planning and conversation about this in early 2018. Meg and some other district staff and Jess, who's here tonight. And so it is really going to be quite a process to really do a whole makeover over the summer. The district has, sort of starting from the ground up, needs to replace the carpet and redo the walls, but there's a lot of exciting new things that this gift would pay for. So I'm going to let Meg Evans comment on that and introduce the PTO co-leaders, Jess and Lindsay.
So, as we all know, that we're so fortunate to have such committed and dedicated families that really provide the support that to our school systems and enhance all the great work that is done by our dedicated and fabulous faculty. But we couldn't have the success that we have if we didn't have this partnership and relationship. And I think, this gift led by these two amazing women with Jess and Lindsay is just an example of that. I think this is going to be a legacy that we can leave behind, since I don't think it's really been, the carpet is original, so vintage and
Sure you don't want to keep that.
end of its usable life. And so we're really excited and fortunate for the district for being able to take a look at that, and we really were able to come together and say, how could we reuse this space and keep it in line with the vision of the graduate that's coming, that collaborative work space. And so they, whenever you give a seed with these ladies, they take it and run with it. So I don't want to steal their thunder, and we'll certainly let them share some ideas.
Talk about how much the potential gift is.
Sure. I'm Jessica Priest, and Lindsay Solomons and I are the co-presidents until tomorrow.
Congratulations on both counts.
You sure, Jess?
We're sure. Presidents in the end of 3 years, so our time is done. The new presidents will be coming in tomorrow, but we're thrilled to be here tonight. I'll just sit down. We're thrilled to be here tonight on behalf of the Squadron Line PTO to discuss the donation that we are about to make and the check that I've already given to them. When we learned the district was investing in the media center at Squadron Line with new carpet and new paint, we thought this was an incredible opportunity for us to capitalize upon and enhance that investment from the school board with an investment of our own. The goal of this renovation is to create an inviting space, as Meg alluded to, that will allow our kids to engage in project-based collaborative learning that will really bring them into the future, and it's critical to our kids' success. We've been so fortunate that we've had free assistance from Phase Zero Design, a local in-town design firm owned by 2 Squadron parents, Matt and Lynn Whitmer, and their team at Phase Zero has done an incredible job helping to guide us through this process, so we end up with the result we're looking for and achieving our goal.
More than anything, we wanted to take the opportunity tonight to thank the unbelievable parent community at Squadron Line who answered our call. With their help and the help of our local business community, the PTO was able to raise a significant sum of money to fund these much-needed renovations. We are really excited that we'll be able to see all the hard work come together this summer, and we'll start the new school year with an updated, modern media center. And with that, we're pleased to donate up to $65,000.
Well done.
I'm just overwhelmed with the generosity of our community. It's just unbelievable when we started thinking about this and what we were hoping for, and just to see our community respond is just again just so overwhelming, and we're very excited about this opportunity and can't wait for you guys to come and have your next workshop there.
Oh, we can't wait.
I think you'll notice a little difference.
We can't wait. And we did see pictures of this it was presented to our board, because I remember seeing pictures at one point.
The floor plan's in your packet.
The floor plan's in our packet right now if anyone wants to look at it or has any questions, but we saw pictures that gave us a feel for it.
Yeah, this plan will be modified a bit, but it will be completely renovated.
It's a new definition of volunteer too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's incredible.
That's great. So thank you so very much.
I can't imagine the hard work y'all put in, so
We
that's
really
fabulous.
appreciate
Thank you.
It was a team effort. We have a great team of parents at Squadron Line who pulled this together.
And I think the legacy is the piece that's great, and the kids will keep wanting to go back, and they'll keep checking it out, and it is a legacy. And thank you both very much for for the team you've created and the actions you were able to accomplish. That said, anyone have anything else they'd like to say?
I would like to move that we approve. Before they leave.
Anyone care to second?
Absolutely.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Enthusiastic
very,
aye.
very much.
Opposed? Excellent. So thank you very much. That's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
That's great. Well done.
And congratulations on your retirement. Until you hit other schools.
Oh, no, they have to come back and do second terms. They're going to be in Squadron for a while. So.
All right.
I still have a 3-year-old. They'll be at Squadron.
I was there for 14 years.
Yeah.
14 years. It's a great place to be.
That's right. And now we're moving on to personnel.
Yeah, and we do have retirements to continue with that theme. So 3 different sets of actions for that require board votes tonight. The first being recently announced retirements. I'll put 2 of these together because this is sort of the heart and soul of Terriffill School, with the retirement of Terry Hinault, hugely gifted 5th grade teacher for many, many years. This is going to be a tough one for the Terriffill community to Terry retire, and her partner up there on the second floor at Terriffill is the language arts consultant Sandy Parente, who is a tremendous support to all of the teachers in Terriffill School. These are tough ones for Terriffill, but we're happy for Terry and Sandy after all their years of service, so we certainly thank them. And then our third retirement after 20 years of service at Squadron Line, a very talented and skilled speech and language pathologist. Congratulations to Joanna Needham, who retires after 20 years. So you add that all together, and those 3 ladies gave us 75 years of service to the Simsbury Public Schools, and we need a vote for accept their retirement.
I have to just chime in here publicly that, like, Mrs. Hinault, Terry Hinault, is the most amazing, and I know she's trying to keep this all private, but we're on TV, so now I can say it.
Go.
She has gone above and beyond every day with all those kids, and it is a huge loss to the school. I mean, she's really out, even she'll meet them outside to take them for a book or have breakfast if they're having a difficult time. I mean, she's an amazing, gifted teacher and will be missed.
Well said.
So,
with that said, anyone have anything else?
I don't want to do it.
Yes, I wouldn't want to do it either. Tom will do it.
You move.
Okay, move that the Board of Education accept the retirements of Johanna Needham, Mary Hinault, and Sandra Parente, effective June 30th, 2019.
Second. Thanks, Brian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? You can't say it.
Can I oppose?
The beauty of those teachers also, though, is that they were always mentors, too.
Yes.
And so they were talk about communicative people.
Yeah.
They believed in relationships, and they mentored a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, as much of a whole, they've created a foundation for people who are still in the school.
Huge piece of what they've done.
But we do
Absolutely.
miss them. We will miss them.
The second set of actions are resignations. I'll start with Andy Bukulski, 12 years technology education teacher at Simsbury High School. Very proud of Andy. I hired him, one of my best hires 12 years ago when I was the principal of Simsbury High School. His first teaching job, and was right back at that point returning from Afghanistan, having served his country, and was starting his career as a teacher. And Andy is becoming an assistant principal in Region 7 at Northwestern Regional High School. So I'm very proud of Andy and congratulate him on, those are not easy jobs to get, and I'm very pleased to see that Andy was able to become an assistant principal. Maybe someday back to Simsbury after getting some experience in Northwest Region 7. And the other is really a retirement. It's a resignation because of when this employee is going to accept her teacher's retirement. It's going to be a little bit of delay. So the action comes as a resignation. But Meg Kraft was a longtime 6th grade teacher at Squadron Line, and then in the last 2 years, as a veteran teacher with a lot of skills with the math curriculum, took on one of the roles as a math coach for the last 2 years. This year, stationed at Central School, and it is time after many years of service for her to take her retirement, but again, it's a resignation for purposes of the motion.
Okay.
Move that the Board of Education accept the resignations of Andrew Mikulski and Margaret Kraft effective June 30th, 2019.
Second? We wish them the best in their future activities. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the third set of actions is these retirement announcements that come a few years out. There's an incentive in the contract for teachers to let us know that they will be retiring. It allows for better planning for us. And in this case, 2 music teachers have put forward. So Sue Malika, 35 years right now, and going to give us 3 more as a teacher, general music teacher at Latimer Lane School. I also have had the pleasure. Sue is an amazing pianist and does a lot of accompanying at high school concerts and has really helped us out a lot over the years. So thank you to Sue for all of that. And again, this one, we get 3 more years, June 30th, 2022. And then Mr. Griswold, our band teacher at both Latimer Lane and Tooten Hills School. Rich was the longtime band director at Simsbury High School before becoming the an elementary music teacher. And perhaps his greatest accomplishment that he's going to be remembered for, this is the founder of Battle of the Bands at Simsbury.
Nice.
So Rich, back in the day when giving kids a new way to, a new outlet for garage bands to put some stuff together, and like 30 years later, it's one of the most high-energy events at Simsbury High School. Not going to let him retire from that. He's going to have to keep coming.
Good.
He's going to have to keep
He's not moving away yet.
Yeah. So Rich has already given us 40 years, and he's actually going to retire at our Christmas break in 2020. So that's, need that motion read as printed.
Yeah, we need to read all the words on that one. Anyone?
All right, sure.
Thanks.
Move that the Board of Education accept the notice of intent to retire of Susan Malika effective June 30th, 2022, and Richard Griswold effective December 23rd, 2020.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. I'll second.
Opposed?
I'll second.
Oh, thank you, Jen. Opposed? All right. That was quite a bit. Moving on, I think I'm going to go to Jeff to discuss the
Thank you.
personnel.
And first, so we have Nage up first, and I kick it over to Neil.
Okay, so our collective bargaining process happened this spring from March to May. This is our custodial and maintenance group, a group of about 38 employees that, and we negotiated with their team over 4 full sessions, an introductory sessions, and then 4 other sessions of negotiating that was ended with a successful agreement. As you can see, highlighting wages and insurance, which are always the primary drivers of these agreements, you can see that the step increases, which are less controlled, those are based on moving up the salary scale, are 0.59 in the first year, 0.83 in the second year of the contract, and no step increase in the third year. And then we negotiated the general wage increase based on guidance from the Board Personnel Negotiations Committee, and you can see that we did 2.25% general wage increase in year 1 of the contract, a 2.1% in year 2, and a 2.25% in year 3. This is consistent with where we have been with other bargaining groups. It's a fair settlement for this group, and is very much in line with where state averages are coming on these types of settlements. So the other thing to highlight on this is obviously a major part of the negotiating process these days is insurance. And so always looking to try to share that escalating cost of insurance. So the agreement with Nage has gone over the 3 years of the contract. The employee contribution will raise by 2.5% over the course of 3 years. So that was an effective part of the negotiation. We also did some work to align the plan design to be the same as the other group. But I really wanted to highlight on this settlement that this was an emphasis that we placed on what we're calling pharmacy management, and our insurance consultants are saying this was very important to know that the part of healthcare that's increasing the fastest is prescription costs. So this is putting just agreements in place with that doctors and pharmacies have to be doing some different kinds of communicating as patients go to the doctor, that before you prescribe a high-cost brand, that there's an effort to try a generic for a lower cost first, or that a limited amount of that drug will be issued. These were very important provisions that were an important part of our negotiation strategy, and we were able to successfully negotiate that. So that's certainly important, and I want to thank Burke for his help in helping me to understand all of that insurance stuff.
Excellent.
Because it's
Just a quick question on that,
Sure.
please. So the language that you used was make an effort to prescribe a generic drug.
So
Is it even possible to mandate that it be a generic drug?
It actually essentially is, but there's an exception process that if a doctor has a specific note that any reason why a patient must use other than the generic, then that can take place. So it is exactly what you're asking about.
Okay. And that I hadn't heard that mentioned in connection with the other negotiations. Was it part of the previous negotiation?
The first one we did this with was last year, the very small group that is the Nurses Association.
Yeah.
That was the first group that we did, but this was a larger group, and this is also something we're going to put in place with when you take action on our unaffiliated employees shortly. This is going to be a provision for our unaffiliated employees.
So this is the beginning of a trend.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's the highlights. There are some other small details that were part of the negotiation, but in terms of wages and insurance, those were the highlights. And there's a motion on the page 2 of the exhibit.
So I'll move that the Board of Education ratify the proposed changes in the collective bargaining agreement between the Simsbury Board of Education and the National Association of Governmental Employees Local R1-260 for the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2022.
Second?
Second.
Thanks, Brian. Any questions, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
And Burke and I would just like to thank the members of the NAGE negotiating team who, you've got skin in it because it's your wages and your insurance, but you're volunteering the time you put into negotiations often. And so I want to thank especially their president, Rodney Kraft, and I would say their lead negotiator, George Blick at Henry James, who really put a lot of time into this process. So thank you to them.
I think we should also mention the Board of Ed members who are on the Personnel Negotiation Committee as well. And I know, Jeff, you want to tell us who else is on the board, on the commission?
Myself, Todd Burek, Susan, and Brian Watson.
And so you've been through all this with, it's a nice team that works together,
Yes,
and we're
yes.
thankful for all the
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
who participate. Our next item is?
The next item is the unaffiliated group that Neil mentioned before. This is not a bargaining group, but these are the security officers, the physical therapists, central office folks. Really, the folks who don't have a home is who this group is. There's about 40 plus individuals in this group, and it's time to do the annual adjustments for them. Neil, anything to mention of that before we?
Right, just that it because they are a group that doesn't have a home, they don't negotiate. You award their salary, so we typically try to be in the range where we are with other people.
Yeah. And with that, I will move that the salary range for the unaffiliated Board of Education employees and salaries for the central office administrators be increased by an average of 2.6% for the 2019-2020 fiscal year, with individual position increases being determined by the superintendent of schools.
I would second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And then lastly, we have the renewal of the superintendent's contract. Just a quick note on the process, as most of you know, we met with Matt, obviously, and did an evaluation discussion, had a very great dialogue about his role, his vision, and we obviously overall incredibly pleased with Matt's leadership as well as the whole leadership of his direct reports. I think we can't say enough. You guys are a great team who I think work extremely well together, and that's as Matt is the leader, that's a great reflection on you. And anything else you want to say, or Brian?
No, I think it was just it was a great process, and appreciate the full board's input on that conversation.
Well, and the direction is always for the best needs of the students and the success of each student, and that's always, anytime we bring up a concern or a thought, or it's always answered directly and it's always addressed immediately, and I think that also speaks to leadership practices.
Absolutely. Is the 2022?
Should say 2019.
Thanks, that's what
we just.
Okay.
We were trying to figure that out.
And with that, I'd like to move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's contract for 2019 to 2022 with a salary increase of 3% for 2019.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you very much,
Curtis.
Mr.
Thank
Curtis.
you.
Thank you very much, all
Look
of our
forward to our
unaffiliated.
continued work. Yep.
Really appreciate all of the hard work.
Now we get to do the
Adoption.
oh no, that's the next one. Yeah.
Adoption of fee schedule?
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
The food and
Oh, the food and beverage. No, we're fee schedule.
I'm sorry.
Don't jump ahead. You have work to do. Don't try to get home.
This is what happens when you cancel a meeting.
Burke,
Okay.
please, take it.
So, just a few words about the annual fee schedule. So,
My pad doesn't work anymore. It's
Brian, this might be your first time through this, so just a little bit of background in terms of, we're very pleased to have our school buildings used many days per week and evenings. Both our Culture Park and Rec groups, as well as some of our other non-profits, get to use these buildings, and that really is something we're proud of. We also have some for-profit groups, and we have a fee schedule for that. We also charge if the building needs to be open after hours. And all of these revenues go to the town of Simsbury for fees paid. We continue to budget to expect about $40,000 per year in these revenues. So this schedule before you is about a 2% on average increase that we're asking for your approval on. So if there's any other general questions, I'm happy to try to answer them, but that is essentially what we're looking for your approval on tonight.
Anyone have any questions? Thoughts? I entertain a motion.
Go
Go ahead, Jen.
Move that the fee schedule for use of public schools for 2019-20 be approved as submitted by the administration.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Sue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Wonderful. And so we've already looked at the adoption of food and health, but we have some state-needed motions to be made in state-needed methods. So Burke's going to take us through this one more time, and we're going to have to be very careful.
I have to apologize to the board that, yes, you've seen this, there are three motions here. You've seen the second two, which essentially deal with exceptions to the standards on foods and beverages. We've now got the template that the state needs down pat, so this will be the last time. The key motion that has to be done annually is that we will annually certify that we will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards. So given that you've made these motions before, I think Katie's recommendation is that
Move them as written as opposed to we don't have to read them all out.
we just want to have it all parole for the state's happy.
Thank you.
And we can get the state. Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Sure, move that, as written, these,
Do we do them one at a time?
first motion is approved.
Second, on the first motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Excellent. Now we're looking at the second motion.
Move that the second motion is approved or accepted as written.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And we have a third motion.
I don't have.
And this one we have to read?
Nope.
I'd like to move that the third motion be adopted as written.
Thank you very much. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations,
Sorry,
Berkey.
but you-
Thank you very much for making sure we're dotting all our i's and crossing all our t's. Very important.
They will catch it otherwise.
Erin, textbooks?
Yes, I have 2 textbooks requests to be brought forward to you tonight. They've been in my office for the past few weeks already. Typically, we take a look at them over time, but we're at a time frame where I'm looking for some decisions tonight. We have a social studies textbook for grades 9 and 10. It's actually a 3-semester course. It's been undergoing a revision over the last couple of years, and the 4th semester is their civics class. So this is actually the teacher edition. This is not as big as what the text is for students, but included in it is an online opportunity as well. There are it aligns well to our vision of the graduate competencies, where provoking students to think critically, communicate, collaborate, really become a self-directed learner, and certainly has global citizen, really a focus on globalization and what the world is around our students, not just here in Simsbury. So we have not approved a textbook for it used to be 2 full-year courses, it's now 3 semesters since 2009, so we're looking for an approval for that text. And certainly, in their review of the text, they looked at the equity issues as well and found it to be very complementary to the work ahead of us in this area.
It's very nice to see Nelson Mandela on the front cover.
Yes, yes.
That's very helpful.
So that's for social studies at our high school level. As you know, for science, we've been integrating and moving towards the new next generation science standards. And we were fortunate enough that this company allowed our 7th grade program to pilot these modules, these books, this year. And Greg Core has put forward a request to purchase the texts for the students for next year. Again, really seeing opportunities for students to really dig deeply into the inquiry process and a lot of collaborative opportunities. As mentioned earlier tonight, new science labs will really bring this to life the way it is. And hard to find materials that do support the next generation science standards, but throughout their work with this year, they really found that this is very supportive and would like to move forward just in 7th grade, and then we'll look at 8th grade next year. They'll pilot 8th grade this year, and then we'll look at them again.
Sounds good. Anyone have any questions? It's such a small list. It's and it's nice.
Yeah, and both
It's doable.
And this has online opportunities as well.
That's great. That is that's wonderful to see.
Right.
I would accept a motion if anyone, Brian?
Sure. Move that the board approve the textbook adoptions for the 2019-2020 school year as submitted by the administration.
Second. Thank you, Jen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
They both look great.
Thank you.
Now we are moving on to our summer schedule. How do y'all feel about this? So it's been a very long spring. Many meetings. During the summer, we have meetings scheduled for June 25th, July 9th, July 23rd, August 13th, and August 27th. And it's been the past practice of the Board of Education to cancel the regularly scheduled summer meetings. If a meeting's necessary prior to September, a special meeting will be scheduled. So I would recommend that we take the summer off. Can I have a motion? Anyone have any questions or comments? I would accept a motion.
Move that the Board of Education cancel regular board meetings scheduled on June 25th, July 9, July 23, August 13th, and August 27th, 2019.
Second. Thank you, Sue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to policy revisions.
Adoption of policy. So this has had its process through the readings and asking that tonight be the night you vote to accept all of these policies. The heaviest lifts on this year being the full review of the Board of Ed bylaws that went through the policy committee. The one that that we worked primarily with the curriculum committee, which was the diplomas and certificates of achievement on the changed graduation requirements. That's being approved. And then, as you'll note from the email exchange I had with the board members about this, the student discipline policy, which we were going to put through a minor revision, actually ended up with a more significant revision. That's what you get when you ask a lawyer to review it. So we asked Shipman and Goodwin to review it, and they did an extraordinarily thorough review of the entire policy. A good thing to do. It's not something we were intending to do going into it, but it's now to the advantage that the student discipline policy has been updated. So other minor revisions, and it's time to move these policies if there aren't any questions.
We all have looked at them, and we've said I know people have shared even off-meeting times with you, Neil.
Some email exchanges that help clean them up, and we're in a good place.
So if anyone has any questions or thoughts?
Well, before we vote, I would like to commend the district staff, in particular Neil, for the very professional and thorough job that went into a pretty complicated project. I think it was extremely well done.
There's a lot of, this is a group that a lot of us, we put it off and then we sit down and we do it, but it's between
you
Sue
did
and Aaron and Katie and I, and then Tara had a big lift on the bylaws too, so we thank her for her work on that.
You guys did a great job.
Good job.
So, that said,
Can I make that motion?
I would love for you to make that motion.
Move to adopt both new and revised Board of Education bylaws and policies as noted effective June 11, 2019.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. And because we had missed a meeting, they extended the conversation, so really appreciate it getting done. Mr. Curtis?
We are on to the last item of business.
Last item of business.
All right, so our job here tonight, the last thing we need to do is approve the next generation of Board of Education goals. So what I've put together is just a quick stack of 5 slides or so, just to recap the process more than anything else, because I think it's important to denote, again, that we work in this cycle of continuous improvement in this district and have done so for quite some time. So if you could just hit the first slide, thanks. So this, as you'll remember, this process really kicked off in earnest for us in the fall with a workshop that started with a little bit of an education on our vision of the graduate document, which are the competencies that we've defined, the 6 competencies to really move forward and frame our strategic plan. So each of these competencies does have a list of defining attributes, and in your folder is a draft. It's not complete, but it's a draft plan of our new strategic plan in its entirety, which we'll tweak over the summer in terms of priorities and so forth, but you have that to take a look at. But the vision of the graduate, we know we're excited about shaping our curricular work, shaping our personnel work, all of our work as a district to ensure that our students are prepared to take on the challenges that face them in the future. So, and this is really the bones of the plan. So the Board of Education goals really serve as the foundation of the framework. And what we've done for each goal is we've defined specific strategies, several strategies for each goal. From those strategies, we figured out different outcomes, various outcomes. What do we want the work, the expected end result of the work to look like? Another layer of detail in almost action planning. What are the actions that need to be taken to ensure that those outcomes and strategies are met? And then how do we measure them? So for each of our goals, we run through this continuum. And it's a great structure. It's not a new process for us in continuous improvement, but it's a newer structure and format that we found in our research with our team this year, modeling after some other districts when we kind of went out there and saw what some of the best practices were, and we're certainly excited about that. So in terms of what has been accomplished this year, we have certainly come up with the goals, which we've put before you before, and you had extensive input in, but we've identified those overarching strategies, so we checked that one off. We've created our desired outcomes, we've listed our actions, and we've come to agreement on our metrics. So we're really in good shape to move forward and launch this work this summer and into the fall. So when we think about the goal areas, and the last one kind of cut off on the slide, but we have four Board of Education goals. The first one is around student growth and success. The second one is really our school climate and culture goal around compassionate and connected school culture. We have a premier workforce goal, and then the fourth goal, which sits underneath, I guess you can't see it there, is the strategic and sustainable investments. So that's really about our facilities and the work moving forward to ensure that our capital is in good shape as well. This is the text, the full text on the goals. I'm not going to read it to you. You've seen it before, and you had a copy in your packet. But we certainly feel good about the depth and the breadth of these goals. As I talked about in the update initially, the initial steps of our equity work fit very well into our overarching goals. So our curricular and instruction work that needs to be done certainly fits in goal 1, the work of our school culture in 2. We've set some goals and parameters on minority hiring practices, and being more effective there certainly fits in goal 3. So I do think it's important that all this work continues to stay streamlined. We bring this language to life in the fall for our teachers, which we're really excited about. And as we think about next steps, which is my last slide, after we approve the goals tonight, the work of administration over the summer is to really prioritize and create, bring this working document to life from a continuous improvement standpoint, which we'll do. We create coherence through school-based leadership plans. Each school will have a plan that is tied into the district plan, and then we look forward to a really positive kickoff of this at Convocation in the fall and communicating this out to our community and our parents as well. So that's about a year's worth of work in 7 or 8 minutes, but just wanted to recap the process. It's work that we're really proud of, and I think we've been thoughtful.
Mm-hmm. I just have one question about the goals themselves. I don't. This is not the time, I think, to comment at all on the detail of the strategic plan. But as far as the goals are concerned, I just have a question as to whether or not there's any significant difference in this set of goals compared to the previous 5-year set of goals.
Yeah, I think that the one main difference I would say is those other goals were very metric oriented in terms of some of the standardized measures that we've had historically in the district. Mm-hmm. So much more focused on the teaching and learning component of it. I think this plan offers a much broader deal of breadth in terms of scope, which we're really excited about, and it aligns itself with those vision of the graduate competencies, which are new for us.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very different lens into how we do our work, and has a greater deal of possibilities for us.
I wasn't part of the board when those goals were established for the last strategic plan, but I seem to recall that this whole issue of culture, school culture, became a pretty hot button within the last few years. Is that a fair statement? And so that our goal about culture is a kind of a new direction or a new focus, or no?
I think we've always prioritized on the teaching and learning and the school climate. I think now really thinking about equitable practices differently is newer for us. I would say that's a point that's important. But in terms of character education and those programs, we've always talked about that, and they've always been very important to our
meant
schools.
more the school environment, a safe environment, and less a safer, more collegial environment as far as the students are concerned. Is that? Yeah. Are we doing more focus on creating a better place, a better environment for the students, aside from teaching and learning, but just in terms of character development and no bullying?
I think it's absolutely a primary focus point for us.
Yeah, I just want to point that out because I think it's real important, and it really shines through this. I love it.
It does. Yeah.
Well, and I think you took a lot of these goals. I mean, we had a great workshop this fall.
Yeah.
When you brought some of these ideas towards us, and then we were able to, with the group that we had, work through them and add to those details of. I think that's what Tom's speaking to, is the details. I think our other goals were great and good objectives, but these seem to have more depth They seem to have a
That's a great way to
Yeah.
describe it.
and more accountability.
I think
you're trying to put a
these
little more
allow you
accountability.
to kind of look at both, those quantitative metrics we've always looked at, but have much more process-oriented conversations about some of the grassroots work and how we actually get there and get at the work in the district.
And what's really important, I think, that I want to make sure I congratulate all of you guys on, and, Matt and your team, and all of the people sitting here tonight, because you're doing this thoughtfully, and you're getting a lot of stakeholders to participate in any of these conversations. You've had teachers, you've had parents, you've had Board of Ed, you've had students, and I think that as you were rolling this out, you're growing with it, and it's a living document at this point until you hammer it down, but I think you've reached out, you've gotten people to listen to you, you've listened to people, and I think that makes these things so much more successful.
It's an exciting direction, it is.
When you can be successful, when everybody knows it's coming and is willing to participate in it. So,
I want to do more of them. Loved it. Thought it was
The
so great
workshop?
that workshop. I don't know if you've always done that because I'm new, but it was fabulous, eye opening, and hearing everyone's different point of view and stuff. I thought it was great.
It was great.
It was good. Sorry, just wanted to chime in.
I think that's great, but people don't know that happens sometimes, so I think explaining that there
It was
is so much
amazing.
to this.
Right.
It comes to a meeting and we look up it, but there are so many people that have had their hands on this document and have participated that I think everyone needs to know and needs to appreciate all the hard work from so many people. That said, we do have to make a motion to accept these goals.
Move that the proposed 2019 to 2024 goals for the Board of Education be adopted.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thank you very much, you guys. That was a ridiculously long, hard-working meeting. And I appreciate everybody's interest in staying awake and getting through all the details.
There was a lot to celebrate.
A lot
in
of
this
details,
meeting,
a
but
lot of
to
celebration.
Interest in staying awake.
So I'm opening up the floor to public audience once again. Does anyone have anything that they would like to share tonight or talk about? We're lucky to have public audience. It's very fun. Thanks for being here. So our future business is, our next board meeting will be September 10th. School will be well on its way by then because we start the last Wednesday of August, so it's a little early start this year. And graduation's Friday.
Yes.
Valerie will be there for you.
Thank you.
We will see you
Cheering you
there.
on.
I'll be there.
You will bring you Kleenex. That's all I can tell you. I'm
She's
so
not
sorry.
ready. We're not ready.
I'm so sorry.
And it looks like it's going to be
both been
nice.
That said, I
Looks
will,
like Thursday is the day, right? So good.
My kids graduated in the gym. You don't even want to talk about it.
Oh my god, it's probably a million degrees too. It's gonna be muggy if it's raining.
I would accept a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very, very much. Valerie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an honor.